Good morning to all of you. So today I am actually discontinuing the current affairs class. Okay, I will resume again those classes after few days. So today I will attend the previous lectures that I was covering actually from the initial point of our classes as master at the rate UPSC. That is our polity session. Okay, because many of you are demanding that do a class of like mixed one. Okay, so that's why I also thought that it was boring to continue the same way. That is why I picked up again polity classes. Okay, so it will be almost 40 minutes to 45 minutes, or it may be even 50 minutes class. Fine. It is about, it's really an important topic first of all. Okay, it's really interesting whenever we will teach about and read about the whole things which I am going to teach you right now. That is really an interesting one. You will know about the historical backgrounds of some of the formation of Indian states, okay, and union territories of states. Today and the lecture of tomorrow, that jointly will be a similar topic. Okay, yesterday I will cover only 50% of regarding to that topic. So when you will analyze about that 50%, only then you can cover the next 50%. So don't waste the time, let's start. So moving to the next slide. Let's see. Okay, the topic is union and its territory. Union and its territory means what? Have you, by seeing this topic, what you analyze? See, union, I have already told you that India is federal in nature, but when we compared the federalism with USA of India, then somehow we can say that India is not a federal country as USA. Instead of that, India is a union of a state, and the type of federalism that is existing in India right now, or from the constitution mentioning itself, India is a quasi federal state. Okay, constitution actually doesn't mention and written anywhere that India is a quasi federal, but we are just mentioning that India is a quasi federal. Fine. So union means India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of a state. Okay, you will read about it. Okay, one of the article of the Constitution of India is saying the same thing, that is India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of a states. This is the same line written in the Constitution of India and under that article. Okay, union of a states. So union and its territory. Territory means there are different kinds of states present in India. Apart from that, there are others numbers of union territories. So what are the differences between states and union territories? I will also tell you after few slides. Okay, so let's move to the next slide and we will see the details about today's topic. So let's see. First of all, I have told you about many of the articles, but right now I am going to tell you about Article 1 to Article 4 of the Constitution of India. Okay, so how interesting is that? Actually, Article number 1, you will just know about Article number 1 of the Constitution of India. So let's see what it's telling about. Article 1 to 4, okay, under part 1, see, article and part of the Constitution both are different thing. Okay, fine. How? Because see, article number 1 to article number 4, all the 4 articles comes under or came under only one part, that is part 1 of the Constitution of India. Okay, there are not as far many as parts of the Constitution of India as like articles. There are different articles, like almost 400 articles are present, but that kinds of huge quantity actually not present about part of the Constitution. That is why different numbers of articles present inside a single part. You will know all about it, okay, gradually. So let's see. Article 1 to 4 under part 1 of the Constitution of India deals with, or it means Article 1 to 4 under part 1 of the Constitution of India says that the union and its territory. Union and its territory. So about the union and the territory of India, it means the whole territory of India is being defined by which article of the Constitution of India? Article 1 to Article 4. Say each and everything, even any, see, there are 28 states right now present in India, 28 states and 8 union territories. I hope you are knowing about it. I will also tell the name of union territories. So what do you think that it's just for calling that 28 states or 8 union territories. No, these all things are actually mentioned in the Constitution of India. That is why India is a democratic country, not just by saying that yes, if Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh is a state, then that is a state. No, these all things are actually mentioned in the Constitution of India. Their establishment, their bifurcation, they are the whole things. Okay, so all those things are written from Article 1 to Article 4. So Article 1 to Article 4 deals and says that about the India and its territory. Fine, Indian Union and its territory. So I hope it is clear to all of you. Just an overview, but one of the most important articles, because only if any place will exist, then only any kind of action will be done in that area. If India is present in any location, only then anybody can live on those locations, any action can be happen on those locations. If there is no place, then how any action can be happen at that place? So that's why it is one of the most important article for our Indian nationalism. Okay, because whenever India is present, only the talking of nationalism can be done. Fine. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next slide. Now let's see. At present time means right now in India there are 28 states total. I am talking about the states, not about union territories. So there are 28 states and 8 union territories. Fine. Earlier it was 29 states and 7 union territories. But by the bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir, by the removing of Article 370 from the Constitution of India, by doing that action on behalf of Parliament, now the state is reducing by 1, that is from 29 to 28. So at present time the number of states in Indian Union is 28 states and the number of union territories inside India, that is 8. Earlier it was 7. But because Jammu and Kashmir also becomes a union territories, Ladakh becomes separate union territories. So you can say, you can erase this question. See, definitely a question is arise here. If Jammu and Kashmir is a state earlier, okay, is earlier a state, almost 2 years ago it was a state, fine, before removing Article 370. So at that time how many states? The states is 29 and union territories is 7. Just listen here, okay, otherwise you will get confused. Earlier it was 29 states and 7 union territories, fine. Okay, have you got it? Now see, Jammu Kashmir is included in this 29, okay. But after removing Article 370, Jammu Kashmir is not a state. It means now you are considering that it is not a state. Now if 1 will be subtract from 29, then 28, that's fine, that is 28. But what happened to Jammu and Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir has been bifurcated in 2 areas. One is Jammu and Kashmir and other is Ladakh. So now, and both will be termed as union territories. Okay, union territories. So 2 new union territories formed. So here earlier it was 7, now 2 included, so it will be 9. But why I am saying that it is only 8 union territories? Because see, earlier I hope you have read about it. See, Dadar and Nagar Haveli. Okay, earlier it was a union territory, right now it is also a union territory. And another union territory, that is Daman and Diu. Fine, Daman and Diu, both are actually separate union territory. Before almost 1.5 or 2 years earlier, both are separate union territory. Dadar and Nagar Haveli is a separate union territory and Daman and Diu is a separate union territory. But what happened to both those union territories? Actually, by an action of Government of India, both those union territory has been formed in a single union territory. Okay, so both these formed in a single union territory. Now it is called as Dadar Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. You will read like that: Dadar Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu Union Territory. What is Dadar Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu Union Territory? So earlier it was 2, now it is 1. That is why it is not 9, it is 8. I hope about the playing of numbers now you are not confusing in it. Okay, Otherwise, many students you can ask who are even preparing for civil services, you will arise this question, then it is possible that those aspirants get confused in it, okay, because they are just remember the facts, and UPSC is not one kind of examination that is going just asking about facts, okay. Even in interview, this is really an interesting question about, fine, when your optional is PSIR, or even this is one of the simplest one that can be asked to any of the students. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So can I move to the next one? So I am moving to the next slide. Okay. Now I will tell those names of union territories. You should remember these names. Okay. It is definitely a important one. You should remember. Fine. Now let's see. 8 union territories present right now in our Indian Union. So what are those 8 names, those 8 union territories? I will tell you all this. After the names, I will tell you the differences between states and union territories. Now let's see. You can serial wise by any number, okay, not like just first number at Delhi. Even first number can be Dadar, Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu too. Okay, I have just adjusted it. You can not remember it with like serial wise, you can remember with any number. Okay, fine. So see, one union territory is Delhi, our national capital. It is a union territory, not a state. Second, Jammu and Kashmir, earlier it was a state. Third, Ladakh, earlier Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh both are combining and making a state. That's why earlier it was 29 states, and after the removing of a status of a states, this area, this area has been bifurcated in 2 union territories. That is why right now 28 states. So 3 union territories I am teaching right now: Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. 3 is clear to all of you. Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. 3 is clear. Number 4, Chandigarh. Okay, Chandigarh, the capital of Haryana and the capital of Punjab, that is Chandigarh. So Chandigarh is also a union territory, that is not a state. Okay, Chandigarh is a union territory. Puducherry, okay, earlier it was called as Pondicherry, so it is Puducherry. Puducherry is also a union territory. So Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Chandigarh, Puducherry. 5 is clear. Again I am repeating: Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Chandigarh and Puducherry. Fine. Number 6, it is Lakshadweep. Lakshadweep. Fine, Lakshadweep. Where Lakshadweep is present, where Andaman Nicobar present, and even the details about Andaman Nicobar is also really important for our examination. I will teach you during geography classes. Fine. So how many? Now I have covered it 7. Delhi 1, Jammu and Kashmir 2, Ladakh 3, Chandigarh 4, Puducherry 5, Lakshadweep 6, Andaman and Nicobar 7, and Dadar, Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu number 8. Have you memorized it? It is really an important one. Okay, you should be remember about these names. I have remembered. What about you? I am repeating it again. Okay, just for one time. Number 1 Delhi, number 2 Jammu and Kashmir, number 3 Ladakh. Fine. Till now here it is easy. Number 4 is Chandigarh, that is the capital of Punjab and Haryana. Number 5 Puducherry, earlier it was also called as Pondicherry. Number 6 Lakshadweep. Number 7 Andaman and Nicobar, and number 8 Dadar, Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu. Clear it is. So now I will tell you about, remaining on the same slide, I will tell you about what is actually the difference between a state and union territory. Just 2 minutes I will clear. I will just give an overview. Okay. See, in a state there is a legislative assembly. Fine. There is a legislative assembly where election of members of legislative assembly happened. There is a chief minister. Fine. There is a cabinet of minister at a state level. Okay. There is a election commission of a state level, a state election commission. There is a governor. So these are the facts, okay, of a state. These are the nature of a state. What about union territories? See, in union territories actually Delhi is somehow exceptional. Okay, Delhi, and even you can say that some of the areas like Puducherry, Delhi and Puducherry is exceptional. Okay, exceptional little bit. How? Because see, if we remove Delhi from this union territory or Puducherry, then we can see that nowhere the post of chief minister has been given. Nowhere the legislative assembly is present. Nowhere. Okay, right now even in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh there is no legislative assembly. Till now there is no delimitation commission will be sit on behalf of Election Commission of India. Till that time, there is no legislative assembly in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Fine. What is delimitation commission? I have told you during the Election Commission of India lecture. If you are getting confused in this delimitation commission, you can go to the Election Commission of India lecture. Fine. Almost 40 days earlier lecture that is. Fine. You can see that it is mentioned in our videos section. Okay. When you are go to my channel, our YouTube channel, and in those videos section will be available where you can find all the videos of all the lectures of our classes. Till now I have covered almost 35, or you can say it just more than 35. It is almost 40, more than 40 lectures of polity has been uploaded. Fine, you can see that. So in Union Territory, actually it is the role of President of India who will look after to those region. It means, like if we analyze Jammu and Kashmir, then it is the President of India who will send a Governor General or Governor, okay, or Governor to that Union Territory on the aid and advice given by the Prime Minister. So Prime Minister will give an advice that keep this person as a governor or as an administrator to any of these Union Territory. Like, have you heard about some controversy relating to Lakshadweep? Okay, some name that is, I think it's somehow called, I am forgetting this name. Okay, I will teach you during the current affairs lectures. That person was actually not a chief minister of Lakshadweep, because there is no legislative assembly or no chief minister post in Lakshadweep. So there is an administrator sent by the central government of India on the name of president. Okay, actually Prime Minister will say that send this person as an administrator to Lakshadweep. Then it is the duty of President of India to send that person to Lakshadweep as an administrator. So these are some key differences between states and union territories. Okay, I am just giving an overview. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So can I move to the next slide? So I am moving. Now let's see what actually Article 1 says. I have told you that Article 1 to 4 defines about India and its territory, Indian Union and its territories. But what Article 1 is specifically tells, Article 1 only, what Article 1 clearly says that, specifically that Article 1 describes that Bharat, or you can say that Article 1 describes that India, that is Bharat, okay, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. This is the line written in the Constitution of India. Article 1 says that, Article 1 and that sentence will saying that the same thing which I am telling you right now. India, that is Bharat, is a union of a state or shall be a union of a state, not a federal. Okay. So federal word nothing mentioned in the Constitution of India. We are just finalizing or assuming the federal nature of India because of some rules and regulations. Okay, rather than federation of a states, the same thing I am telling about. USA is a federation of a states. Fine. USA is a federation of a states, but India is a union of a states. India is federal in nature. In nature, India is federal, but also not as federal as USA. USA is totally federal, federation of a states, but nature of federation present in India is quasi-federal. So what is quasi-federal? I have cleared about the day before yesterday lecture. You can see that lecture, okay, about quasi-federal. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So can I move to the next slide? So I am moving. First of all, I have to erase it. So move to the next slide. Now let's see. According to Article 1 of the Indian Constitution, remember these facts, these are really important ones. Okay, if you will, even you have joined test series for this year, or even you will see the previous year question, this kinds of question regularly asking, regularly, even these are news or not. And since because of bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir has been happened recent past, and even now our Prime Minister have said even on 15th of August that soon there will be an election held in Jammu and Kashmir. So that's why these kinds of topics are really become so important regarding to our civil services examination. So let's see, according to Article 1 of the Constitution of India, the territory of India, whenever I will say only territory, okay, territory, then Only territory means anything, a states, union territory, anything. Okay. Territory means all the geographical area present inside our nation, present inside the Union of India. That may be a state, union territory, or something else too. Fine. Even the siege part, okay, the area controlled by India of the siege are also comes under Indian Union. Okay. So whenever say about territory, then it's about the whole area, geographical area of Indian Union. So according to Article 1 of the Constitution of India, the territory of India can be classified into 3 categories. Okay, 3 categories. So what are those 3 categories? See, number 1 category, states. Okay, all the geographical area in India can be classified into 3 categories. Number 1, states. Number 2, union territories. I hope both these are clear. Number 3, now see this number 3. Number 3 is really interesting one. It is saying that any other area or any other foreign area acquired by government of India that will also be termed as under the Union of India. Like about the examples of Sikkim. Okay, Sikkim. Since Sikkim before 1975, Sikkim was not a part of India. Before 1975, Sikkim was not a part of India. Okay, fine. But since in the Constitution of India it is mentioning, under Article 1 itself it is mentioning that a state will be a part of India, union territory will be a part of India, and even those areas which will be acquired by the government of India by any means will also be termed and continued under the terms of Indian Union territory, means Indian Union. Fine. The example of the preferred example, that is even that is Jammu and Kashmir too, and even that is Sikkim too. Fine. Sikkim is a part of right now India, and Sikkim is an integral part of India, but before 1975 Sikkim is not considered under Indian Union. Okay. So right now, if just assume that if India is acquiring some of the other nations territory, then can that nation be termed under Indian Union? Yes, that can be called, that can be termed, that can be also bring under Indian Union, but not by legal means, by by the opinions of those people who are living on that area, means referendum, okay, plebiscites, okay, all these things. By doing that, those areas can be included under Indian Union. So these are 3 interesting things. So I hope it is clear to all of you that what are those 3 categories and which articles are actually talking about that 3 categories. Article 1, remember it. So I am moving to the next slide. Now let's see the names of the states and union territories, means like Maharashtra, Delhi, okay, even the names of states or union territories too, Bihar, UP, MP, UP, Chhattisgarh, anything. Okay, so the names of a state and union territories and their territorial extent means what? See, I hope all things are clear. The names of the state is clear and union territories is clear. Fine. But what is actually this line? And their territorial extent means India's territorial extent. India's territorial extent means, I have given the examples of right now Sikkim. Okay, so whenever the Sikkim was not a part of Indian Union before 1975, then after 1975 when actually Sikkim was included in the Indian Union, then if the Parliament of India wants, the government of India wants to change the name of that state, then government of India can change that name. Okay, so that is why their territorial extent means India's territorial extent, that is till the border where India's reach is presenting, that is territorial extent. Okay, the last area, the last point of geographical area of our nation, territorial extent. I hope it is clear. Are mentioned in the first schedule of the Constitution, not the first part. See, Article 1, Part 1 and Schedule 1, all these are different things. Okay, so don't confuse it. Otherwise, a question may be given in preliminary exam that the names of a state, union territories and their territorial extent are mentioned in the first part of the Constitution of India. then that is wrong statement. Not in the first part. Okay, and even not in the article number 1. It is mentioned under the schedule 1 of the Constitution of India, first schedule. Fine. So remember these facts, otherwise when you will confuse in parts, schedule or article, then it will be really different for all of you to be aware about it. Okay, fine. So I hope it is clear. So can I move to the next one? So I am moving to the next slide. It is little bit blurred, so go to previous slide. Just click on middle part. Okay, thank you. See, Article 2 empowers the Parliament. Now I am going to Article 1 to Article 2. What actually Article 2 says? Article 2 have give the power to which one? To Parliament to admit into the Union of India. Means it is Article 2 who give the power to Parliament to include Sikkim, Jammu and Kashmir, okay, Goa, Daman and Diu, to include these areas into Indian Union. Okay, so a question may be genuinely asked by by which article, by which official authority you have included these areas into your Indian Union. So the answer is Article 2 of the Indian Constitution have give the power to Parliament to admit into the Union of India. Okay, admit means include, or establish new states on such terms and conditions as it think fit. Means Indian Parliament have the power, and the power given by Article 2 of the Constitution of India. So it is the Article 2 of the Constitution of India who gives the power to Parliament, okay, to even include any areas under Indian Union. And apart from that, it also, Article 2 also gives the power to Parliament to establish new states on such terms as the government of India will think that it is fit. Okay, as which method the government of India will find suitable, the government of India will apply and establish new state. Fine. Can establish new states, like Jharkhand has been established by bifurcating of Bihar. No. Chhattisgarh has been formed by bifurcating of Madhya Pradesh. There are many examples of it. Okay, I will teach all those things in the lecture of tomorrow lectures. Okay, fine. Those lectures that is also comes under the same thing, Indian and Union Territory. So I hope it is clear to all of you. Article 2 gives 2 special powers. Fine. So I am moving to the next slide. These are really an interesting topics whenever you read about your country, your nation. That is why we can say that Article 2 grants 2 powers to the Parliament. However, not. Article 2 gives 2 important powers to the Parliament. If Jharkhand has been formed by bifurcating of Bihar, or Chhattisgarh has been formed by bifurcating of Madhya Pradesh, or Telangana has been formed by bifurcating of Andhra Pradesh, only it is not because Indian government wants. Even Indian government wants, and there is no presence of Article 2, then Indian government cannot bifurcate these states and establish new states. It is the Article number 2 who actually gives the power to Parliament to establish new state. Okay, so now let's see 2 important powers given to Parliament. Number 1, the power to admit into the Union of India new states. Even new states can be, like the simplest example, that is Sikkim, even Jammu and Kashmir, Daman Diu, Goa is under the control of Portugal even after independence. Okay, so at the time of independence, Goa is actually not a part of India. Even after 10 years, Goa is not a part of, after independence, Goa is not a part of India. Fine. Like Goa, Daman and Diu, and really some other areas are also, even Sikkim. Actually, these areas are not under the Indian Union. Fine. So, it is the power given by the Article 2 of the Constitution of India to the Parliament. Okay, given by the Parliament, no. Given by the Constitution to the Parliament. Remember in this way, otherwise you will confuse in it. And you will write the answer that Article 2 of the Article 2 is giving power by the Parliament to the Constitution of India. No, this is really a wrong line. it is power given by the constitution to the parliament. Okay, the flow is constitution to parliament, not the parliament to constitution. So the power to admit into the into the Union of India to new states. New states can be included in the Indian Union territory. Like Sikkim has been included in 1975, Goa, Daman Diu, and so others. Okay, there will be different kinds of name. Puducherry too. The second important part, the second important powers given by Article 2, or we can say that given by Article 2 of the Indian Constitution to the Parliament, that is the power to establish new states. That I have also given the examples of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, even Telangana and many others. Fine. If right now, see, right now Jammu and Kashmir is a union territory, Ladakh is a union territory. But what happened if government of India wants to give a status of a state to Jammu and Kashmir? Then it is the Article 2. Then there will be the use of Article 2. By the using of Article 2, the government of India can establish the Indian territory UT of Jammu and Kashmir as a state. Okay, so remember this fact. These are really an important one at the present time too. So I am moving to the next slide. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, so let's see what other things. Now I hope Article 1 and 2 is really clear to all of you. Even if you are confusing in it, just see the lecture again. Okay, or asking to me, to our faculties. Now let's see Article 3. Article 3 says that, or Article 3 deals with the internal readjustment of the existing states of the Union of India. It means what? See, internal readjustment means whatever the areas, states and union territories present at this time in India, if any adjustment will be done inside that area, then that is called internal readjustment. It is or not? Fine. That all the areas present within India at this time, either that is a state or union territory, anything, if there will be any kind of adjustment done, then adjustment means adjustment related with their boundaries, their names, then that is called internal readjustment. I hope it is clear. Of the existing states means the present states of the Union of India. So it means what? Article 3 will definitely, I hope now an overview about Article 3 is clear, that if any kind of internal readjustment will happen inside the Indian Union, then which articles will says it or deals with it? Is it Article 3? So I am moving to the next slide. That will tell something extra about Article 3. See, like Article 2 gives the power to the Parliament, two important powers. In the same way, Article 3 authorizes the Parliament to 5 important things. Article 3 gives the Parliament 5 important authority to do that. Okay, Parliament will do all these 5 things only because Article 3 gives the authority to Parliament to do these 5 things. Number 1, form a new state by separation of territory from any state or by uniting 2 or more states, or parts of a state by uniting any territories or part of any state. If you will read these lines, that is actually mentioned under the Constitution of India or in any other polity book, then it may possible that you may get confused, but in the simple way I am telling you. See here, Article 3 gives the authority to Parliament to do, suppose this is a state number 1, this is a state number 2. Okay, just see here, this is a union territory, this is 1 union territory, this is 2 union territory, this is 3. Only I have taken 3 union territories and I have taken a state 3. Okay, a state 3. 1, listen, 1, a state number 1, a state number 2 and a state number 3. Okay, and here is union territory 1, UT2, UT3. Okay, just what government of India or Parliament of India do that actually? Parliament of India can do what? By using of Article 3, Parliament of India can do like bifurcate any of the state, any of the union territory. It means dividing, you can divide any number of states within a state. Like in 2000, 15 November 2000, on 15 November 2000, Jharkhand, earlier it was totally Bihar, but Article 3 gives the power to Parliament to bifurcate it. That's why Government of India on 15 November 2000 bifurcate Bihar and forming a new state, that is Jharkhand. Okay, so Government of India can do it. Okay, can do this or not? So one thing is clear. Even Government of India can also do this. If two states are present, just assuming for example, it is suppose it is Bihar and it is UP. Okay, just assume that. If Government of India wants, just for assumption, hypothetical situation, if Parliament of India wants, then it can be only one state. It has the power of Parliament. The name will be what, that will also depend upon Parliament. Fine. Even if Government of India, Parliament of India wants, then if this is MP, then all these three states will be a single state if wants. If one, there are three union territories and three states. If Government of India or Parliament of India wants, then all these 6 territories can be a single state termed as. Okay, or it is possible that these all 6 locations can be termed as not as a state, only as a union territory. Government of India can even alter the boundary of any state, forming new state, okay, by altering the state, forming new state, or forming a new state by look this way, by even Government of India can do this also, Parliament. See, some parts of this state has been cut down, okay, and some parts of this state has been cut down, and then form a new state. Government of India or Parliament of India can also do it as it deems fit. Okay, fine. Even like UP is continuing. If Government of India wants, then also UP can be bifurcating into 4, 5, 6 number of states, and it is possible that 3 of them can be given to the status of a states and 2 or 3 of them can be given to the status of union territory. Anything can be possible. Just listen it. Okay, if you will read this, you will get confused in it. Okay, just listen it what I am telling you right now. I hope actually readjustment, any type of readjustment, Parliament of India do, and it's the power given by the article number 3. So I hope it is clear. So can I move to the next slide? So I am moving. I will show the authorization number 2, point number 2, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It is easy. If you will get the first one, it is easy, really easy. The same things, just written in another language. Increase the area of any state. It means, see, just given an example, like Goa is a smaller state. Fine. If Government of India wants to increase the boundary area of Goa, then Parliament of India can do it. Okay, Parliament of India can do it. What will do? Actually, Parliament of India will acquire some boundaries from other states or union territories, and it will be bring under the state of Goa. So increase the area of any state. Parliament of India can increase the area of any state, means not increasing the earth. Okay, don't go in this way. Not increasing the earth. How can anyone can increase the area of earth? By, see, adjustment can be done, readjustment. These all things are internal readjustment. Okay, readjustment. Not like that if means Goa is here, and just for assumption for 1 second, if USA is here, then you are just acquiring the boundary of USA by hurting them and acquired this. No, not in this way. Okay, if there is, like example, if there is Bihar, there is UP, both have shared boundary to each other. If Government of India wants to increase the area of Bihar, then Government of India will do what? Government of India will see that Bihar will share boundary with which of the states. Okay, and Government of India, as it thinks fit, okay, that fit, then Parliament will take up some boundaries of UP or Jharkhand, okay, or Odisha to and include it into Bihar. So can increase the area of any state, that is. Okay, and the power given it is Article 3. Really it is confusing. If we will read it only single time, then it will confuse in an examination hall. Article 1, 2, 3, all things are simple, but it's confusing. Even it will be given that increasing the area of any state has the power to Parliament given by the Article 2. That is incorrect. No, it is given by Article 3. So these are really somehow confusing. If you will read it 2, 3 times, then it will be clear. Diminish the area of a state means diminishing. If, see, if I am increasing the area of Bihar by including some area as UP under Bihar, then what do you think? The area, earlier area of UP and present area of UP will be same or not? No. Now it will seems some area of UP has been taken and included in Bihar just for assumption. So that definitely the area of UP will be now less, decreased, diminished. That is the same thing. Diminish the area of any state. The fourth thing, alter the boundary of any state. The same things I have told you. Alter the boundary of any state. Okay. Means if there is a boundary of Bihar, here it is Bihar, or if there if boundary is UP, boundary of UP, then want to change the boundary, Parliament can do it. Okay, Parliament can increase this boundaries, diminish this boundary, fine, anything can do it. Number 5, alter the name of any state, like any can be name, like earlier Chennai was called Madras, then it is called Chennai. Okay, many things, Kolkata, Kolkata, Bombay, now it is called Mumbai, many things, Delhi, you can say many things, okay, many a time, Odisha, and right now Odisha. So different things, fine. So I hope it is clear. So can I move to the next slide? I am moving. Yeah, see, there are two conditions in Article 3. If you have analyzed about the matters in Jammu and Kashmir, what happened to Jammu and Kashmir actually? How it will be contradicted? I will talk it in a separate session. Okay, I will talk it. Is that legal or illegal? If Supreme Court says doesn't hearing, even till now, Supreme Court doesn't hear that matter on that matter. That is the bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir is legal or illegal. Till now the Supreme Court has not heard that case is pending. So it's not the perfect time to give the opinion, okay, because even Supreme Court is hesitating to give any decision. So how we can say to and come to any conclusion? So let's see, there are two conditions in Article 3. Number 1 condition I am telling you, see, if you want to readjustment, to do readjustment, just I am giving an example, like Maharashtra is a state. If Parliament of India wants to readjust the boundaries or even the name of Maharashtra, change the name of Maharashtra, then directly Government of India or Parliament of India cannot do it. Okay, directly cannot do it. First of all, it can be done by passing, okay, by amending the constitution, but not amending the constitution under Article 368. See, whenever constitution will be amended under Article 368, then there will be needed a special majority. A special majority means 2/3, more than 50%, and 2/3 from both the houses and from more than half of the states. Legislative Assembly also passed. I will tell about majority. I have cleared it. Okay, in a few lectures earlier, I have cleared about what are majorities, types of majorities. I will also cover it after few days. So if Parliament of India wants to change the boundary, alter the boundary, increase the boundary, okay, dividing the Maharashtra, changing the name of Maharashtra, anything if Parliament wants to do, then Parliament have to bring an amendment act in Parliament and pass it in a simple majority, not a special majority needed. But only when President will allow, it will not Prime Minister who will advise President to do it. It is depend upon President. If President of India feels that yes, these things can be done, then only after the allow of President. The second thing, even President cannot directly do it. Okay, President have to do consultation with the respective state. Fine, respective state. If that is a state, like Maharashtra is a state, so President of India will consult to Chief Minister of a state, and Chief Minister of Maharashtra will put this matter in Legislative Assembly of Maharashtra. Okay, so there will be a consultation process inside Maharashtra. Then the decision of Maharashtra Legislative Assembly will be told to President. Okay, that yes, we want what you do to want, you can do. And even it is also possible that MLAs or Chief Minister of Maharashtra can say that no, you cannot do it. It should not be done. This is not good. Okay, whatever the previous thing, whatever the present thing, it is good. Okay, don't change anything in it. But president is not binding to follow their suggestion. President is not binding. President can accept their suggestions, or even president if wants, then president cannot accept their decisions. President can consult, president will consult, definitely have to consult, must be consult. So I will take 2 minutes and I will cover, and then you will analyze that what actually the abrogation of 370 was right or wrong. Okay, it will be your opinion. I will give an example here, right here. Okay, see, just like given the example of Maharashtra, suppose that is a union territory, the union territory, so there is no chief minister. If we accept Delhi and Puducherry, so there will be no chief minister. Even in Puducherry there is a legislative assembly, and like Delhi too. So if union territory and Parliament of India wants to change anything in that union territory, then president will ask to whom? There is no chief minister, there is no legislative assembly. So president of India will ask the administrator, which is itself appointed by the president. So ultimately it is upon the president that president will want to change it or not. But at the present time or any time, it is the prime minister who actually said president, and president is just like a statue to do all the things. Okay, it is just the reality. But what actually happened in Jammu and Kashmir? See here. See, earlier Jammu and Kashmir was a state. I hope all of you know. Just I will take 2 minutes. See, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, this is a state. Okay, both are these in a single state, Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is a state. Ladakh is also present in that at that time. What happened? There is a legislative assembly present in Jammu and Kashmir. Fine, there is a legislative assembly. After that, there is also a chief minister. Chief minister in legislative assembly, that is Mahbooba Mufti. At that time, chief minister with the support of itself the BJP party, NDA party. So what actually happened? See, the whole thing has been how gone. First of all, the government of India have made president rule here. First of all, okay, government of India put his support from the party of Mahbooba Mufti, and then government falls. Okay, government falls, but legislative assembly present. Government falls, but legislative assembly present. And after that, the government of India, the president of India have sent an administrator, okay, have sent an administrator to which one? That is, I hope it is somehow Lalji Tandon, if I am not incorrect. Okay, if I am incorrect, just correct me. Government of India sent an administrator to Jammu and Kashmir. Fine. Till that time, Jammu and Kashmir was a state. Okay, legislative assembly was present. Fine. So what should actually be done? If Parliament of India wants to change their status of a state and dividing the state, the reality should be, the way should be this way. There should be this way. Like first of all, president should consult to chief minister, that is Mahbooba Mufti. If that is not a chief minister, then consult to legislative assembly. Fine. Then the legislative assemblies will share their opinions. Even their opinions will not be binding on president. Okay, but their opinion must be listened. But it is not happened, and president of India sent Mr. Lalji Tandon to Jammu and Kashmir as an administrator, and Lalji Tandon itself, just after appointment of few days itself, give permission to alter the boundaries, not by consulting anyone. That is why till now Supreme Court has not heard on this matter. Okay, because if Supreme Court will hear, then definitely some illegal things has been done in this way, because it is mentioned in the Constitution of India that wherever legislative assembly will present, you have to consult that. Otherwise, without consulting, you cannot altering the boundaries, altering the names, increase the area or decrease the area. This is not possible. That is why Supreme Court is not hearing that case. That which of the day Supreme Court will hear that case, it is the things that will be really harassed for the Indian government. That's why it is in a neutral way. So I hope it is clear about Jammu and Kashmir. So what's your opinion? Just saying it. So I'm moving to the next slide. Now see, the parliament can redraw the political map of India. No, can redraw the political map of India. The example is, just suppose I am not knowing about the writing the political map of Bihar or Jharkhand. Just suppose that it is a Bihar, it is Jharkhand. Okay. Earlier it was a same one, like if earlier it was in this way, like this is the whole Bihar. Now this is just assume that it is Bihar and it is Jharkhand. So cannot. Earlier the political map of India was the same one. Okay, but a structure was the same, but the structure of Bihar was different. But now the structure of Bihar was different and another structure has been created. So the parliament can redraw the political map. Has been redrawn or not? According to its will, means according to its desire. Hence the territorial integrity means the integrity means unity almost. So if the integrity or unity of Bihar or Jharkhand is not permanent, whenever the Parliament of India want to change it, the Parliament of India can do it. Okay, or continuity existing of any state is not guaranteed by the constitution. Means if that is Delhi, if it is an area of Delhi, then constitution is not guaranteeing that their area will be not be bifurcating or increasing or diminishing, their name will be not changed. The constitution does not have given any guarantee on it. That is why all things has been done under Article 3. So I hope it is clear. So if anything is remaining, I will cover, otherwise I will finish here itself. Remaining, so I will cover right now. See, Article 4, till now Article 1 to 3 is clear, I hope. Now Article 4 declares that laws made under Article 2 and Article 3, all the laws made under Article 2 and Article 3 are not considered under amendments of the Constitution under Article 368. This means that such laws can be passed by simple majority and by the ordinary legislative process. I have already told you that all the amendments, all the rules made under Article 2 and Article 3, if any amendments will be changed, any rules will be made under both those articles, then those articles will be turned under amendments, turned under constitutional amendments, but not constitutional amendment under Article 368, because anything can be any amendments if comes under Article 368, then there is a special majority needed. But without in Article 2 and Article 3 any rules will be made, then there is no need of Article 368. Will be Constitutional Amendment Act, but not under Article 368. And if not under Article 368, then there will be no need of a special majority. By passing with simple majority, amendment can be done. So which article is saying these all things? This is Article 4. This is the same thing. So I hope it is clear. So I am moving to the next slide. See, according to the judgment given by Supreme Court in 1960, Bedubari Union case, I will heard about that. I will cover almost 25 to 30 cases related to Supreme Court after Indo-Polity classes. See, according to a judgment given by Supreme Court in 1960, that Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state. Ceded means Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state, means if India wants to give its region to some other state, that is really wonderful. India have done. Okay, and it is not a bad thing. If there is a somehow means dispute, like there was dispute between India and Pakistan, there was dispute between India and Bangladesh earlier. So few parts of Bangladesh given to India and India have given few parts to Bangladesh, because that is disputed one. Okay, it was decided that these areas are yours and these areas are yours, but officially it was not done. That's why it was a disputed area. So it is India's duty to give those areas to Bangladesh, and it is Bangladesh's duty to give those areas to India. Okay, so in the areas which is giving by India to other nation, other foreign nation, that is called as Indian territory ceded to a foreign state. Fine. So according to judgment given by Supreme Court in 1960, Bedubari Union case, Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state, means Indian territory can be given to a foreign state by amending the constitution under Article 368. So how difficult it is? Because if there will be change in amendment, okay, if India want to give his areas to Bangladesh, okay, on behalf of something, then Government of India needs a special majority under Article 368. Okay. So I hope it is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next slide. See, consequently, the 9th Constitutional Amendment Act 1960 was enacted to transfer the territory to Pakistan. That is why 9th Constitutional Amendment Act was needed, because under Article 368 a special majority has been passed and some areas has been given to Pakistan, because that was a area of Pakistan. Okay, India has given those areas to Pakistan, but officially it was not actually given. That's why it becomes a disputed area. So India is not a enemy country. Okay, India has given those areas to Pakistan in 1960. So moving to the next slide. By doing a Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 360, and that which Constitutional Amendment Act? This is important one, 9th Constitutional Amendment Act. So moving to the next slide. See, again in 1969, Supreme Court said that settlement of a boundary dispute between India and another country. Settlement is other thing and ceded is other thing. Settlement does not require a Constitutional Amendment Act. It can be done by executing action and it does not involve cession of Indian territory to a foreign country. See, settlement is other thing and cession is other thing. Okay. Because in 1969 Supreme Court said that if there is a boundary dispute between India and some other nation, India and a foreign nation, then there is no need of Constitutional Amendment Act. Even by executive powers of Government of India can do it. Fine. So it is said by, this is different from the judgment given by 1960, but not totally different, because the Supreme Court even in 1966 said that you can solve the disputes, but you cannot give your region to other nation. Okay, you cannot give your region to other nation by executive power. If you want to do it, then bring Constitutional Amendment Act under Article 368 by a special majority. Fine. So I hope it is clear. So I am moving to the next slide. See, the 100th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015, the 100th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015 didn't act to give effect to the acquiring of certain territories in India and transfer of certain other territories to Bangladesh. See, I have already told you India, Pakistan. See, there are few disputed areas. Okay, some areas of India are even in Bangladesh and some areas of Bangladesh are present in India. So since it is done by if India want to give his regions to Bangladesh, then definitely by doing a Constitutional Amendment Act with under Article 368. So that article is 100 article, and with Pakistan, which one? 9th Constitutional Amendment Act, and it is 100th Constitutional Amendment Act done that. Okay, it is done that. So moving to the next slide. Okay, the same things I am moving to the next slide. See, under this deal, India transferred 100 enclave means somehow parts to Bangladesh, and Bangladesh give 51 enclaves to India. Okay, by 100th Constitutional Amendment Act. So I hope it is clear. If any other slide remaining, I will cover, otherwise I will finish here itself. Integration of princely states. Okay, means integration of princely states. So see, during the independence, India was there was means three types of present. See, because partition of India and Pakistan have happened. So see, some areas are under control of British Union. That is under. So it is said that areas have been bifurcated for India and Pakistan, but some states are under Indian Union and some are Pakistan. But few states, that is called princely states, that even don't went to India and don't went to Pakistan. Those said that we will be independent. Okay, those are called princely states. So how integration? Integration means inclusion. So how the inclusion of those princely states who are independent has been included in India. So moving to the next slide, we will see that. Just 5 minutes more. about classes. See, at time of independence, there were total 552 princely states. You can see it, 552 princely states. Out of 552 princely states, when partition has been happened between India and Pakistan, between what? When partition of India has been happened and found a new state by bifurcating India, that is Pakistan, then total 552 princely states was present. And see the strength of India. Out of 552 princely states, 549 princely states joined India and 3 not joined Pakistan. Those 3 remain independent. What are those 3? That is Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. All these 3 refused to join India, also refused to join Pakistan. Those said that we will independent. Which one? Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Remember these 3 names. So I am moving to the next slide. But in course of time, okay, with the growth of time, they were also integrated with India. Okay, they all those 3, Junagadh, Hyderabad and Kashmir, all those also included in India. How? See, Hyderabad has been included by means of police action. Okay, by force, not by force, correctly saying, means by means of police action. Actually, there was so conflicting area that always there will be somehow like bad things happen. Okay, that's why by police action that area has been occupied by India, because that's so necessary for Indian Union. Second thing, Junagadh has been included by means of a referendum. A referendum has been held in Junagadh and public opinion has been taken. Okay, then public wanted to join India. That is why referendum has been held in Junagadh, and Junagadh has been included by referendum, included in Indian Union. And Kashmir by the instrument of accession. See, there is a whole story behind Kashmir. In a separate time, whenever I will teach about Article 370, I will teach about how Kashmir has been included in India. So Kashmir has been included by instrument of accession. What is instrument of accession? I will tell you in that session. Right now it is not possible for all of them to understand you. Okay, so remember these things, because see, previous year question this kind has been given. Even if you are joining test series, this question definitely has been given. What will be done? Hyderabad will be given by a referendum, Junagadh one will be defined by a instrument of accession, and Kashmir will be given as police action. So interchanging of these things, question will be given. So remember these things: Hyderabad by police action, Junagadh by referendum, and Kashmir by instrument of accession. Remember things. I am repeating it again: Hyderabad by police action, Junagadh by referendum, and Kashmir by instrument of accession. So I hope it is clear. So if any other slides remaining, I will cover. Otherwise, I will finish here itself. No students, here it is finishing itself. So thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow again. Okay, so thank you.